Hey guys, it's Monday, and it's Zane. Funny story, my sister forgot her keys, so I had to go give it to her, and I have no time to do today, so you guys have to bear with me while I drive and do this video. So our topic for the week is basically a Tumblr ask that we got, and it was asking about how to what to do if you're questioning your gender identity and your gender and your sexual identity. And what I would say to that is, homie, it's totally fine. It's totally fine, and it's totally normal, and it's okay. Some people just intuitively know when they're 5, and some don't realize it until they're 50. That's just numbers from personal experiences. I think it's a perfect opportunity for you to figure things out. It's time for I feel like it's basically an indicator telling yourself, it's yourself telling yourself that it's time for some self-exploration, and it's a perfect opportunity for self-growth, definitely. I think the best thing to do is just to slowly and gradually being honest with yourself. Things like this do take time, and it's not going to for a lot of people, it's not going to happen overnight. For me, I actually initially came to terms with my identity later on. I initially came out as bisexual in high school, and that was only because I wasn't sure that I was a lesbian and that I was solely attracted to women. I also wanted to point out that I also got a Tumblr asking me about how I can still identify as a lesbian but also as a trans guy. And I just want to make it clear that I just want to point out basically that sexuality and gender identity are two different things. And sexual identity is what you're attracted to, who you're attracted to, what type of people are you attracted to. And gender identity is exactly what it sounds like. It's your gender. So that's for that. So I take sexuality, what would you do if you were questioning your sexuality and your gender, kind of like two different things. My sexuality, I didn't question it. Like I said, I initially came out as bisexual because I wasn't sure. I wasn't for sure yet. And my gender, I didn't come to terms with it until last year. I knew that I liked dressing as a guy. I was more comfortable that way. But it wasn't until things became more imminent, I guess, I started feeling dysphoric. I think that was the biggest indicator, was that I started feeling dysphoric. Top dysphoria, and when I would get into relations with women, sexual relations, that sounds kind of weird, but basically when I would have sex, I would have bottom dysphoria, and that was never something I had before until last year. But I knew that I liked women very, very early on in high school. So I just wanted to point out the difference as far as the difference between the two. And you can totally figure things out. You can figure out, for me, I figured out my sexuality early on, but I didn't figure out my gender identity till last year, and that's totally fine. That's normal. But I also want to say that you should figure things out, but take your time. There's no need to rush with these things, especially because time is your best friend, honestly, I think. And you honestly just need to take the time to figure out who you are as a person without resistance. And what I mean by that is that the more that you try to deny your feelings, the harder it is for you to figure out things. And when you're more open and honest with yourself, you will start seeing things open up and things start making sense. And when you see things start making sense, it almost validates your feelings and makes you feel, for me, it made me feel less anxiety, I think. And also, I think one of the best things you can do is that, like I said, this is an opportunity for you to figure out yourself. And when you're figuring out yourself, yes, it's important to think about things, but I think what's also important is that you need to start experiencing things as well. Like for me, I knew that I didn't like men when I started dating men. You know, I didn't necessarily do it the right way, and I say I didn't do it the right ways because it involved a lot of people getting hurt. I think it's important to disclose the fact that you are still trying to come to terms with your identity. Have at least valid feelings for this person first. Because getting into, it's like I said, it's important to get into relationships and start dating, because it kind of shows you what you like in people and what you don't like. You learn a lot from yourself and from other people, you know. I realized that this feeling wasn't right. Like, I remember this guy, like, I really liked him. I genuinely liked him. But he held my hand and he said, he just looked at me and he said he loved me, and I just felt nothing, you know. But with my friend, my best friend at the time, her and I, she would just look at me and I felt so much emotion, you know. And that constantly kept happening it consecutively happened with women, you know. And so it was a big indicator to me that my feelings are more geared towards women. And so I went that way. I was honest with how I felt, and I started dating women. My phone lost memory, so I'm just gonna end it this way. I hope I answered the question. Also, if you guys have any questions at all, we would love to hear from you. We now have a Tumblr page that Tumblr blog that consists of all of us, and so you can leave us questions there. I'll leave that information on the bottom. If you want to ask me a question, you can go ahead, and I'll leave my Tumblr link on the bottom as well. Feel free to send in your questions, just because, you know, your question could potentially be the topic of the week, so like this one. So have a great Monday, and I'll see you guys next week.